So, Mr. Shaggy, it's a pleasure to meet you. We're on Soundwave Entertainment Live. And Shaggy, Bonafide Girl, oh, I love that video. Why didn't you call me for the video or anything like that? I mean,
I'm saying, somebody should have hollered at Tahlia right here.
Right?
For real. I mean, I'm not the casting director, but if I was the casting director, trust me, I mean, you would fit that whole lead role. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I'm
I
saying,
hear that. I hear that.
I mean? Toes and all. I mean,
all right, Mr. Shaggy.
That's a private joke. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So your album, Intoxication.
Yeah.
How did you come about the title of that album, for that album?
After I did the whole body of music, I was in my studio one night, and I had just done the Intoxication song, so I was listening very loud.
Okay.
And once just listening in it, I would just start playing a couple more tracks, and I came out and I felt like I was high, but I never smoked nothing. You know? So the last track that was played was actually Intoxication. Now I said to myself, yo, if you name it Intoxication, because you feel like you're intoxicated by the music.
Okay. All right.
And it just kind of flowed. It was easy to roll off the tongue good. You could make a lot of slogans to it.
Okay.
So it was, you know, great.
So how does this album differ from your last album? What do you think?
It's a little harder. It's a little more edgy. I mean, music has moved. You know, when we started to do dancehall music, when we started to do music back in the early days, we had to kind of water it down basically to get it on mainstream radio. You know, like when Shabba Ranks came with Ting-a-ling-a-ling, everybody jump on, but the radio stations wouldn't play it. They would be like, well, that doesn't fit our format. You know, we don't do reggae. You know what I mean? So he had to basically get Johnny Gill or Maxi Priest and they do an R&B kind of version to it, you know what I mean, to get it played. So we did nothing else. When we came with Boombastic in its authentic form, we had to, you know, put Marvin Gaye, you know, Let's Get It On under it, just to the beat, just to get on radio. Okay. Now that dancehall has now come, you know, it's not just a genre of music now, it's a part of popular culture. You know what I mean? We have fought for that for years, and now you can see the mainstream has now understood a little bit about what dancehall and the culture of dancehall is. You know what I mean? That affords me the opportunity to actually tap into the core music, which is what I've always loved and never left. You know what I mean? So when you give a record company Angel and It Wasn't Me, it's kind of hard to give them something else because they've made like, you know, 12 million records and you know over 100 and odd million dollars. I mean, they're you know, they'd be like, well, you know. So I couldn't go the direction with them, so I had to basically take matters in my own hands and create an album that I felt represented me. And you know, I know they wouldn't back it, so I did it myself. I spent my own money. I did a joint venture, a partnership deal with me and VP because I know that they saw the direction, they could support the direction I was going, and then we just went ahead and got it and get it popping. And the feel of it is harder, but at least at the same time, it can please the streets, but it has the potential to please my mainstream audience also. And
I think that's what a lot of your fans love too. What are some of your collaborators on your album, like more people that you're working with on your album, artists?
Well, we have Akon on a track called What's Love.
Okay.
And this track was produced by Tony Kelly, and big up to Akon. He's probably one of the easiest person to work with in the sense that, you know, there was no red tape where Akon was concerned. You know, pick up the phone, call him, he answered it, and you know, we got the track going. Sizzla and Calibots, these are people in my in my fraternity, so that was an easy one. We're all friends, we all have mutual respect for each other, so that collaboration was easy to get done. That track was produced by Christopher Birch, and then we had you know, Bonafide Girl with Rick Rock, and you know, Rick Rock wasn't me, so we have a great chemistry. Rick Rock and I write a lot of songs together, and of course, no album is complete without Rayvon. You know what I mean? Out of Control, produced by Sting International. Sting was responsible for most of the Shaggy big massive hits. So yeah, it just all kind of flows.
Cool. So what are some of your favorite tracks on your
My favorite track on there is a song called Woman's Gone.
And how does it go? Give us a little.
Well, the reason why Woman's Gone is there, it comes down to a man waking up in the morning with a woman sitting on top of him with a gun in his face, basically telling him that she knows what he's been doing and he's pretty much begging for his life.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, whether he lives or die, you have to listen to the record.
I hear that. So what inspires you in terms of your songwriting?
I'm a storyteller.
Really?
And I like to write about things that people can relate to. Like when we did Church Eden, I basically said what everybody else thought. You know what I mean? So you could, whether you're avid churchgoer or not, you can relate. You could have related because you know that, hey, them think they're going into the church for real. You know what I mean? And I did it in such a comedic way that you didn't find it offensive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's the same situation. Like anything you do, you know, there's three things you can write. You can write about religion, but everybody has their own religious belief. You can write about politics, but everybody has, you know, their own political agenda here and there. But you talk about relationships, and everybody can relate, whether you're young, you're old, you're straight, you're gay, you're black, you're white, you're Indian, you're whatever it is. You know, everybody from the minute you're out of the womb, you have a relationship right there with your mom.
Right.
You know
I hear you.
So
I hear
you can get into that.
So what would you say your role is in the history of reggae music? Like, what sets you apart from other?
I think my music sets me up. I don't think the thing with Shaggy to me is that I can do what they can do. Can they do what I can do? You know what I mean? I mean, just check the music itself. The style of music that they do, I can probably emulate every single style of music that they do. Can they emulate what I do? You know what I mean? There's no two Shaggy songs that sound the same. So there's no way to pigeonhole me or set me in a pattern. You know what I mean? When you heard O Carolina, it was like, oh, what is this? You know what I mean? But then I come with Bombastic, it was like, what is this?
Right.
I mean,
So
and wasn't me, it was like, where this come from? You hear that song, yeah? I remember the first time people hear Church Eden, it was like, well, I mean, know about me here, I tune with church bell and organ and some cathedral sound. Yo, that thing, them mad. It was different. So it is always different where I'm concerned, but always dope. You know what I mean? And it's just me getting bored. I don't repeat myself because I get bored very easily. And I have to try the things to excite me. You know what I mean? I always got to try new things. So I try to reinvent myself every time.
Okay. Well, thank you very much,
Pleasure was
Shaggy.
mine, man.
Pleasure meeting you, and thank you. Stay tuned.
Susie, you know, say you're platinum. I got such a beauty, you're a cutie, every man hypnotize her. Nothing can mash up me and me bonify. Coulda never make me stray, no matter how hard them try. Nothing can mash up me and me bonify. So you see me hesitate, no bother things, say me shy. Nothing can mash up me and me bonify. They coulda have the come, fi make me roll me high. Nothing can mash up me and me bonify.
Sweet girl, you're the only one for me, the only one who has my heart. There's no need to stray, your love is like a perfect work of art.
That's right.
Ain't no need to lose it cool, you really gotta play it smart. Yeah.
I want to Laura.
Sweet girl, you're the only one for me, the only one who has my heart. There's no need to stray, your love is like a perfect work of art. Ain't no need to lose it cool, you really gotta play it smart. No.
Yo, this is Shaggy. Stay tuned. Don't be tuned out. Soundway TV, the big bad station ruling the nation. Mr. Lover, on your dial, wicked and wild. Smile.